This is not a flashy chart. It's not a meme chart, and it's definitely not speculative. It's what we call now a regime chart. It tells you how markets respond when confidence in fiat currency, real interest rates, and central bank discipline quietly begins to erode. This chart captures what is often called the debasement trade. And it does so in a way that strips away emotion, headlines, and storytelling and replaces them with a relative price behavior. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what this chart that I'm looking at, this one, shows, how to read it properly, why Jackson Hole mattered, why precious metals are leading, and why the dollar is not confirming strength, and why this matters for portfolios, not just opinions. This allows us to compare gold versus stocks, silver, and risk asset versus monetary hedges on a level playing field. So let's identify the assets first. The red line is the S&P 500. The black line is gold. The purple line is silver. The yellow line is Bitcoin. The blue line is the US dollar. And the pink line is Brent crude oil. And notice the vertical dotted line. These mark key Federal Reserve moments. Jackson Hole, subsequent FOMC meetings, and policy inflection points. So it's not about one day, it's about what happens after the Fed speaks. Why is this a debasement trade? Before we go any further, we need to define the term. So the debasement trade is not a collapse. The debasement trade is not a collapse trade. It's not like the dollar is disappearing. It's debasement. It's not a crisis trade. It's not hyperinflation, right? It's a slow, rational repricing of money itself. It occurs when markets conclude that real interest rates will be capped. Monetary easing is structural, not temporary. Debt laws require financial repression, and currency purchasing power will erode gradually. You're losing the dollar, basically. In those environments, capital migrates towards assets with scarcity, gold, silver, assets with no counterparty risk, gold and silver, and Bitcoin, and assets that sit outside the fiat system, the fiat currency. Historically, that would mean gold, silver, sometimes commodity, occasional crypto, but not always. And this chart is showing you when that trade turns on. Now, focus on the period immediately after Jackson Hole, the meeting with the Fed. So what happens? Gold begins to rise steadily. It's the black line. Silver rises faster. Don't forget silver. The dollar does not strengthen. Equity grinds higher, but they do not lead. This is critical. If Jackson Hole had been interpreted as an hawkish, we would expect dollar strength, pressure on metals, compression of inflation hedges. Instead, we get the opposite. The markets interpreted the speech as dovish, accommodative, a signal that the tightening cycle was effectively over. That is where the first leg of the debasement trades begins. And notice something subtle. Gold rises calmly. Silver rises aggressively. This is not a noiseless divergence between gold and silver. Why does silver lead gold? Its small cousin. I mean, silver is not just gold's small cousin, right? It's not gold's smaller cousin. Silver sits at the intersection of monetary metal, industrial metal, and cyclical reflation asset. When silver outperforms gold, markets are not just hedging, they are expressing confidence that real rates will fall while liquidity expands. Silver's surge into September and October tells you there is no fear-driven buying. This is policy-driven positioning. Silver does not lead in crisis. Silver leads when money is being diluted. This is exactly what the chart is signaling. Around mid-October, we see a sharp pullback. Silver collects, gold retraces, Bitcoin weakens, and oil sells off. This is where many observers get confused. They call the trade dead. They say the narrative failed. But look at the dollar. The dollar now surge. The dollar does not surge. It does not break out. It remains range bound. That tells you this is not a regime reversal. It is a positioning reset. Liquidity pauses, risk is reduced, but the monetary backdrop does not change. This is exactly how real debasement cycles behave. So let's take a look at the second leg. From late October until November and December, something decisive happens. Silver breaks higher again, this time violently. Gold resumes its steady ascent. The dollar remains capped. Equity rises but lag. This is a confirmation phase. No panic, no headlines, no emergency cuts. Just markets quietly repricing the future purchasing power of money. Silver December move is especially important. Late cycle silver strength almost always reflects loss of confidence in real yields, acceptance of finance repression, structural easing expectation. This is not speculative froth. This is institutional behavior. Now let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin initially responds positively, right? Then it underperformed, then it weakens materially. This is important. It tells us liquidity is easing, but selectively. This is not a risk-on mania. Capital is choosing credibility over novelty. In this phase, markets prefer gold over crypto, silver over momentum, proven stores of value over narrative assets. That distinction matters enormously. Finally, let's look at the dollar. The most important signal on this chart is not the spike, it's the absence of one. Despite multiple Fed meetings, despite geopolitical risk, despite global uncertainty, the dollar cannot break higher. This is the confession. Markets are not panicking, they are recalibrating. And they are doing it quietly. So what's the message of this chart? This chart is not shouting, it's whispering. It's telling you monetary credibility is eroding slowly. Real rates are capped. Currency debasement is gradual but persistent. Gold hears that whisper. Silver amplifies it. And portfolios that ignore it eventually pay the price. This is the debasement trade, not in theory, not in rhetoric, but in price. And price, as always, is the final arbiter.